Welcome to the Outer Realm with Michelle DeRoche and Amelia Pisano. Airing live on the United Public Radio Network, 105.3 FM in New Orleans.
Welcome to Negotiating Happiness, the show that helps you find happiness, success, and balance in your work and life. I'm Adriana Fiestra, your host for this journey into entrepreneurship and personal growth. We're broadcasting live on 107.7 and 105.3 FM in New Orleans as part of the United Public Radio Network. We explore the latest strategies, insights, and stories from successful entrepreneurs and experts. From managing stress to building a thriving business, we've got you covered.
Hi, and thank you all for joining us today. We are broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 on the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM in New Orleans.
Hey everybody, good evening and welcome to Into the Night Sunday night edition with your host, me, Sean Kelly. And yes, I'll put on the hat. I'm getting tired of looking like Moses, my hair. I'm getting a haircut this week, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, but I'm going to keep the beard, you know. I mean, July is like halfway to Christmas, so figure hopefully that my beard will grow a little bit longer, you know, then you have the real reason to call me Santa Claus, you know what I mean? Hey, Cindy Mitch, good to see you. Joni, welcome. Heidi, so much to see you. Good to see you. And Kurt, good to see you all. I mean, it feels great. Now, before I go on, I have to thank UPRN Talk Radio 105.3 Mississippi, 107.7 New Orleans for allowing me to give you an hour on Sunday nights and on Tuesday nights. But since there is no other show that is following me, I got permission to go an extra half hour on tonight's show. So I did it last week and it turned out pretty good. A lot of people were happy that I got to go an extra half hour. So we're going to try to do our best to see what we can do, see what happens from here, from tonight. Good day, Mish. Good to see you, hon. Thank you for popping in. I don't know. It's just so damn hot. It really, really is. So today we had a couple, like I'm going to say downpours, which lasted about 3 minutes each. And you know what? Really didn't do a damn thing. It just made it more humid. You know? So it's like, oh, what's the use? What's the use? You know, just get soaking wet from the humidity. But before we really get into the show, I have to say that my friend Jennie couldn't make it again tonight. Something about power outages out where she was, and you know, it's okay. She didn't have no internet. Hey, Vet Girl, good to see you. Oh, Brian, okay. Tell Brian I said hello. Don't forget the coffee, vet. Don't forget the coffee. It's going to be a long show. It's going to be a long, and it's going to be a fantastic show. So I'm going to put Annabelle to rest tonight. You know, um, it happened. I've been talking about it for the last two. That's Pittsburgh for you, brain. Yes. Um, and I'm just putting it to rest. You know, a lot of people claim that wherever she goes, you know, trouble happens. And with that little incident up there in Gettysburg, I'm done talking about it. I'm just going to put her to rest. You know, maybe she's possessed, maybe she is. You know what? That's something for you to determine on your own. Like I told you before, I'm not here to judge anything like that. I can't judge you on how you feel about it. But I don't know. You know, I was talking with my friend Heidi before the show tonight, and she came up because I really wasn't prepared for anything else. And I just sent her a message. I'm like, I don't know what to talk about. And she gave me a couple of things, but um, the one that she brought up, uh, divination, divine tools. Okay. Um, so we're going to talk about that later on in the show. But this Tuesday, I'm going to be on with CL. It was pre-recorded the other night. Hopefully, it got all worked out. So this Tuesday, even though it was pre-recorded, I will be, you know, our show that we pre-recorded will be on CL's. Joe Fox, good to see you. But you know, we were discussing something the other night during the show, and you know, I thought I'd bring it up to everybody's attention again. You know, why do people, especially in the paranormal, no politics, Joni, no politics on this show or Tuesday night show. That's for Friday and Saturday. No politics at all, buddy. None whatsoever. Um, but you know, we were talking about it the other night, and what's with people and their egos? Okay. Now, there's some people out there, I don't know, because we really didn't talk about it, the people, but, you know, they hurt my friend. They hurt my friend. And I don't like that. I don't like it when people hurt my friends. And why egos? Why do people have to go around and act like they're God or Goddess Almighty? That they are the best they're the best in the field, that whatever they do, whatever they say is like gold, like law. But let me tell you something, okay? Just let me tell you, even my dumbass knows that politics rules here. Not on this show, Joe. Not on this show, buddy. But to doing a lot of things together, you know, working with people and doing different assignments with each other. That's right, Joni. No one should ever hurt anyone. But then again, what do they do? When they just turn their back on the person and they lose a friendship. But in the meantime, they spread rumors about the people who they turned their back on. Trust me, I've been in that situation a long time ago. Seriously. When I started PPS, I thought I had friends. And then thinking those friends were my friends, but what did they do? They stabbed me in the back. And then I went down and I considered it acquaintances. Again, they stabbed me in the back. They rode my coattails. They got all the information that they needed and just like put a knife in my back. And did it bother me? It sure as hell did. Bothered me a lot. And I'm thinking, how in the hell can somebody actually do that? And the killer was, yeah, I was dating a girl at the time, and then all of a sudden one day we're going to do an investigation and she breaks up with me before the investigation starts. Was I hurt? Yeah. Did I get a reason why? Nope, not at all. For all the people who stabbed me in the back, not not even a reason. They just did it. But the majority of them started their own paranormal groups back then. And I'm talking back in 2006, 2007. I'm not talking, up to this day. And they went out and they started their own paranormal groups. And their groups didn't last that long. But hey, Michelle, good to see you, hon. They didn't last at all. Did I make fun of them? No, never did. It's funny, they left and I told them, I said to them, I said, you need help, come and ask, I can help you out. But their egos got in the way. And they didn't ask for help. And you know what? I don't know what they're doing to this day. Do I care about the people who stabbed me in the back? Yes, I do care about them. But my thing was, for me, was if you could, what bothered me the most was that I could not get a reason why. And I've seen this all over, not just the paranormal field. I've seen it out there in the real world. If you got balls to go and just totally eliminate somebody from your life, man, I'll tell you what, there is something definitely wrong with you. I'm not judging you. I'm just telling you how I feel. It'd be good. It would be good if you could give people a reason. It's not like they're going to hurt you. It's not like they're going to be mad at you, But when you investigate with people for a long time, then all of a sudden, boom, they're done. You're done with them. And you ask yourself why. What did I do wrong? I used to say that all the time, but you know what? I don't consider myself that I did anything wrong. I'm not here giving you a sob story. I'm just telling you what happens out there in the paranormal field. And then those people, back when I first started in 2006, and it wasn't just the people that were in my group. It was other groups that did not like me, and for some reason I could not figure out, well, hey, Bob Pasco, good to see you. And there was a lot of people in different groups that didn't like me, and I could never figure out why until someone came up and told me. It's because at that time, TAPS, that ghost hunting show, TAPS, you had to become a TAPS family member, which means your group had to be part of the TAPS family. And you couldn't go by your own rules for your group. You had to go by what TAPS, their rules. Okay. And I wouldn't do it. And a lot of people dissed me. A lot of people told other groups about how bad I was, that I wasn't following TAPS. And then that I believed in orbs. And I do. Now I know better. And I knew the difference between the spirit orb and rain, dew, mist, whatever the hell you want to call it. But I had my own way in investigating, and people didn't like it. So what did they do? They broadcast it all over the paranormal community here in Pittsburgh. Kurt says, life in general, Sean, I feel it's kind of like that I stay true to myself and hardly ever change. But some come and go, and I just wonder what what we're trying to get from me because I don't really change. Hey, Michelle, good to see you, hon. Michelle says a lot of people don't realize ghost adventures at the same thing. A lot of times it was so they could get into certain locations because after a while, all these different shows run out. Ah, thank you, Michelle. Run out of locations. And it was a friend of mine who was in the media industry at the time, and he told me that. So good for you for holding out. Thank you. But yeah, it's just like totally insane. It's good to see you, Arnie. It's good to see you, Michelle. I'm glad you're here. So yes, um, I just did my own thing. I walked my own path doing my investigations. Went by my own rules. Did it my way. Like Frank Sinatra says, did it my way. And sure, maybe I was blacklisted from the paranormal community here in Pittsburgh for a while. And Michelle did the same. Michelle says, makes no sense. You are kind and humble. That's right. Thank you, Michelle. Michelle, I'm glad you said that, and I'm grateful for what you said. Um, but that's one thing that taught me the most about the paranormal work in the paranormal field was that instead of having an ego, instead of having an ego, I had to learn to be humble. There's not too many people out there who are humble in this field, or the Bigfoot Society fields, or the UFOs, or the aliens, or whatever, cryptids. There's a lot of egos that cause a bunch of crap because someone thinks you agree. That's cool. I'm glad you agree, Michelle. But it's true. Uh, I got this new iPod here, and I'm trying to figure it out. But we'll figure it out because I got my notes on it. But no, you don't need to have an ego. You just need to work together. And you know what the biggest problem was back then? The biggest problem was, oh gosh, please, I'm blushing. I'm blushing. That girl says we love you, Sean, and Heidi says your energy is nice, Sean. Peaceful, open-minded. Why, thank you. My God, look at this. I'm blushing. See, girls, I'm blushing. But I'm not going to pull out my Moses here yet. No. But no. Michelle says shows come and go, at which point when they seems to be a lot of times these memberships do as well. And you are left standing, doing what you've always done. Thank you, dear. And Mish says everything happens the way it happens for a reason. It took me a long time to realize that, Mish. It really did. Everything happens for a reason. No such thing as coincidences. And it, it and when I realized that none of this shit was my fault, then you know I was okay. And I investigated. I was in the paranormal field for over 30 years. 30 years. Kurt says when people come into fortune and fame, even after they busted their asses, they're not going to know how they're going to act till it happens in real life. And I feel we lose a lot of good people in that rat race. Heidi says, no coinkydinks. Nothing is ironic. True. And we do lose a lot of people, Kurt. We lose a lot of them. Yes. But not me. I hung in there. Joni says one door closes, another one opens, and that is the truth. And it took me a while, too, to realize that when Spirit puts people in your life, you think they're in your life forever, but they're not. They're only with you for a certain amount of time, and then they leave. That was hard for me to grasp, but it was very, very helpful to me when I heard that. And then I really, really looked at it. I was like, that is the truth. Hey, Sally Force, good to see you. Sally says, well, I just started getting into local paranormal stuff, so hi from Brentwood. Is that Brentwood, California, Sally, or is that Brentwood, Pennsylvania? Kurt says, agree, Sean, it's a treasure and one of the kindest, caring souls and will help anyone. I'm glad he is who he is. Thank you. Um, so you can't please everybody. I learned that out at the beginning. You can't please everybody. Aha, right, Sally. You're right over the. You're not too far from me. And and there's a lot of good. Believe it or not, Sally. There's a lot of good paranormal groups here in the city of Pittsburgh. There really are. And there's a lot of good places to go investigate too. So if you have any questions or you want to send me a message and we can talk about it, I can hook you up with people. Um, Michelle says it's not a competition, sharing our experiences so we can all learn from one another. And that has been the biggest thing going since paranormal groups were, together. I mean, think about it. There was, at the time when I started, it was the scientific people versus the spiritual people. And nobody would want to work together. Michelle says we come into one another's lives to either teach or learn something to evolve on our journey. True. That's so true, Michelle. Okay, Sally, cool. I'll be looking for your message. And oh wow, everyone's talking. Heidi says I connected with you, Sean, and didn't even know you were on UPRN. My son's best friend since he was 5. His name is Sean Kelly also. Coinky dink. That was crazy, man. Hey, Sherry Madigan, my buddy from Newfoundland. Oh, I'm glad you popped in. I'm doing great. Just a little bit. It's just a little too hot here in Pittsburgh. Um, but I don't know. Quit having ego. Denny, holy crap! How are you, girl? Denny Elcar says my cousin. Good to see you, sweetie. Thank you for popping in. How's your family doing? Oh yes, I do remember, Sherry. I do remember. But coming up, let's just all work together and find any answers for the paranormal instead of stabbing people in the back. It's not worth it. Let's work together. This world is a bad place right now. There's a lot of negative energy going on out there. And you're right, Michelle. What Heidi just said. Everyone has their own perception on what the picture. I could show you a picture that to somebody of a full blown apparition, clothes and all. Okay. And there'll always be that one or two people in that group say that was oh hell. It was the picture was put in there. I forget the name right now. I'm lost for words. Joni says I used to live in Pennsylvania near Pittsburgh and always interested in the paranormal. Now that I'm in Illinois and now I meet you, ain't that great? Good to see you. I've known Joni for what 5 years now, huh? A little bit over 5 years. Denny just said, my grandson. Oh, I'm glad you did, Denny. God, I'd be happy to talk to him. I would be really, really happy. I'm glad you did. But you know what, everybody? That's what it's all about. This is what I like to do. Helping others is right, Kurt. It is by helping others. And I enjoy helping people out. I get a blast out of it. I really do. It's the greatest thing on earth. But you don't have to, you don't, if somebody comes up to you and asks for help and you treat them like shit, that's not good. You give them help. And there is no way in hell that, if I do an investigation and I start charging people to come on an investigation, nah, it ain't going to happen. I'm not going to charge. So you can go sit in a dark room. No, it's not all about the money. Now, whatever I tell you tonight, whatever I'm saying right now, it's my opinion and my opinion only. I can't tell another person what to do. It's not my right. It's not my spot. But for me, charging people to go on an investigation is just not right. And taking them to a house where, wherever they take them to private residences or something like that. No, you don't do that. Take them to a cemetery. Take them to an open thing. Like an open investigation where you go on a battlefield or something like that. Michelle says it's a good thing we all see differently. Kurt says, agree, Michelle. World would be pretty bland and boring if we all did, huh? Yes, you're right there, Kurt. Heidi says balance is necessary. It's the universal law. The yin and the yang, good and bad. Yes. And you know what? Today, I truly respect what skeptics have to say. At one point in time, I'll be honest with you, I didn't. I didn't want to deal with a skeptic because they were wrong and I was always right. But that's when my ego kicked in, is when, back when I first started. But I guess back then, not guess, because I know back then, we were the cream of the crop back then because I'm one of the first paranormal groups here in Pennsylvania, in Pittsburgh, But no more. I'd be more than happy to talk to somebody. Sit down, send me a picture. I'm not going to candy coat anything. You can tell me, you can keep until you turn blue that there's a ghost there. And if I tell you I don't see a ghost, then, that's my opinion. That's how it's supposed to work. You don't need confirmation from other people for your evidence that you got. You don't need you don't need that. As long as you know deep down in your heart, that the audio or the video or the picture that you got during an investigation is legit to you, and that's all that matters. It's because it's all about you. It's all about you going out and investigating. Those people don't get off their asses at all, and they just sit and then they search the computer. They look at, I believe there are people out there that just go look to harass people on the paranormal, and I'm sure, and I guarantee it, it's not just, paranormal. Well, cryptids, UFOs, Bigfoot, and maybe one day a bunch of these knuckleheads will get together and realize what the hell they're doing to other people, because it really hurts. I think Kurt said it earlier. I knew a lot of people that started their groups. They were so excited about it, and then they decided to show their picture or their evidence that they got, and people ridiculed the shit out of them and made them feel less than, and they quit doing it. Who in their right mind can actually do that? It's not fair. It's not good. So to lay this to rest, let's just respect everybody. And if they like paranormal investigating, let them. Don't judge their pictures, their audios, their videos. Don't judge them. No, you know, just accept it and move on. We are at the 30-minute mark right now, and I am going to take a little break. I'm going to throw on some promos for other shows here on UPRN, and I'll be back in a couple minutes. So if you have to go to the bathroom, smoke a cigarette, get something to drink, water the flowers, feed the dog, whatever. I like what Sherry says. Judge not, lest you be judged. True. So I will see you back in a couple minutes, everybody. Okay, where can we go from here? We'll do this one. Oh, that was quick. Sorry, guys. Hold on.
Hi, and thank you all for joining us today. We are broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 on the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM in New Orleans.
A little nervous here tonight, but it's okay. Welcome back to Into the Night with me, your host, Sean Kelly. We're going to do part 2 here. We have a couple people have spoken, but before I read what they were saying, what people put in the chat, I want to thank UPRN Talk Radio 105.3 Mississippi and 107.7 New Orleans. This Tuesday night, I'm going to be on the Gateway Podcast with CL. It is pre-recorded, and I'm looking forward to it. And Tuesday night, I got my friend. He's a paranormal investigator, Matt Barron, and I'm going to have him on Tuesday, and we're going to talk paranormal stuff. So in the first half of our show, I buried the hatchet with Annabelle. She's done with me, man. That's it. And then we just talked about egos and different paranormal groups and how people hurt each other and stuff like that. And, but we're going to get on with something more happier. Okay, I need to ask, what do we got here? Sherry says, judge not lest you be judged. That's true. Hey, Donna, good to see you. I hope you had a good night last night. Sherry says, got to remember that. It's hard. Of course it's hard sometimes to remember that. And Michelle, one of these days I'm going to get it right. My boss is in the chat room tonight, and she says people always love you or hate you. True. Just stay tuned to yourself. Help others. Be the best you can be. Most of all, enjoy it. That's all that matters. Do a good job to be honest. And you hit it right on the head, right on the nail on the head. Yes, you did, Miss Michelle. Heidi, Michelle's in the room. Everybody, my boss, Michelle DeRoche. Yay, I think I got it right. DeRoche, Michelle DeRoche. Michelle DeRoche, meet my guardian angels, man. These are my people who follow me. And if it wasn't for you and Joe, you know, I wouldn't have all these friends and have this opportunity. So thank you for being on in the show tonight. Okay, let's see what we else got here. Heidi says, I say that I try to look at my own hands for dirt before looking at others. That's interesting. I never heard that one before. Never heard that one before. But, like I told you, oh boy, Jennie could not make it again tonight. She had some power outages and she lost her internet, so there was no way for her to come on tonight. So we're going to talk about anything. But my friend Heidi, she said, "Oh, you going out tonight with the Night Stalker group? Ah, I'm wishing you a lot of luck." Oh, gosh. And because Donna, I'm going to have her on the show. Donna is out of Ohio, and she is Shawnee, and uh, she deals with the walkers, night walkers, or white Bigfoot, but there's another name that she calls them. But so so I'm talking to Heidi right before the show, and when I found out Jennie couldn't come on, I just wrote to Heidi and I said, "No, what the hell am I going to do? I have nothing to talk about." And then she came up with divination tools. I know I'm saying it wrong. I know I am, because I'm from Pittsburgh, all right? And my accent's totally different. Watchers, that's it, Donna. Thank you, buddy. The Watchers, yeah. Bigfoot Watchers, yeah. I hope Donna can come back on the show again and talk about the Appalachians. Uh, well, thank you. We value you, hon. Oh, man. Yes, Michelle's here. I'm glad. This made my day. Maybe that's why I'm a little jumpy and nervous. Yinzers, Kurt. Nah, I ain't nervous. Michelle's a good person. She's a good boss. Sally says, yeah, we don't talk right here. That's right, we don't talk right. Our accent is totally different from everybody else in the country. It's crazy, man. You know. But if you ever decide to come to Pittsburgh, you better get a book, and it's called Pittsburghese. We even have our own language here. So maybe next week I'll put the link in so you can actually see the definitions of different names of Pittsburgh. Now I'll tell you one. Okay, um, bologna, right? Everyone knows he's bologna. Okay, everyone eats bologna. But here in Pittsburgh, we call it jumbo. Yeah, jumbo. And what else? Instead of, how you go shopping, you have shopping carts. Well, we call them buggies. Yes. And here's the good one, because I get yelled at all the time about it. You know how you wash your clothes? Well, we wash our clothes, or we run the sweeper. I know in England they called it the Hoover, but time, all kinds of stuff. You got to get it. It's the Yinzers. It's called Pittsburgh book, and it'll tell you all what we talk about here. Wash rags. That's it, Kurt. Good. Slippy versus slippery. Mitch calls them trolleys. Ain't it great? Ain't it great that different parts of the country that have different names? Mish calls her carts trolleys. Everyone else calls them buggies, and no, they call them buggy. Yeah. In Kansas, some say buggies. Washington State, they say worsh. Hey, not bad. Not bad at all. Isn't it cool? But we could talk about this and be happy about it. But so I'm talking to Heidi before the show, and she brought up divination tools. Okay, so I got my trusty little new pod. Your flippies. Oh, your flip flops. Okay. Oop. I don't know what is going on with my thingy here, but okay. So the definition of divination tools are instruments used to gain insight into the past, present, or future, often by interpreting symbolic meanings or patterns. Common tools include tarot cards, pendulums, runes, and dowsing rods. These tools are employed in various divination practices, each offering a unique approach to assessing intuitive knowledge. Huh. Oh my God, Mish. Oh, I read that. Oh my God. Yeah, she couldn't make it today, Joe. She couldn't make it today. She don't have no internet. Miss said I wear thongs. I'm like, okay, on your feet. Okay, okay, Miss. Man, I'll tell you what, you threw me for a looper on that one. But okay, some of the common tools are tarot cards. Okay, it's a deck of cards with symbolic imagery used to tell a story or provide guidance. I have a question for people out there in the chat room tonight. Do you believe in the tarot deck? Do you believe that they have an answer for you? I'm just asking. I'll be the first one to tell you, yeah, I did read tarot at the beginning. I did. But it got so damn complicated with all those cards. So my spirit guide hooked me up with an animal medicine cards. And that's what I use is the animal medicine deck. Same thing, basically, but they deal with animals, which I like. I know a lot of people go out and buy tarot. If they do believe it, that's awesome. But they also buy for the artwork too. Sherry says tarot is a tool for me. Then just read the person. That's how it goes. Yes, you use it for a crutch, and that's okay. That's what I used to do. Sally says I believe all things are possible. True. Joe says, Sean, I was just going to ask you if you believe in the tarot. I'm on the fence with it. There's just too many damn questions, too many definitions to the cards, upside or downside. But just like Sherry there, she uses it, then she reads it people. That's what I would do. I'd throw 3 cards out, and I would not, I would not read the definition of the cards. Whatever card I threw over and put in front of the person, I picked up off the card what was supposed to be told, um, said to the person. It's what the energy that I felt. Michelle says, I do. I think tarot cards can guide us. Okay, that's cool. Heidi says, I have in pull cards. Joni says, tarot cards scare me. And that's okay, Joni. They scare a lot of people, right? They really do. And I know a lot of people are afraid of the tarot. Kurt says, I believe it may be like an Ouija board. Now, I have a problem with the Ouija board. Most problems aren't real or just a hack, but there's most likely in some sacred cards if used by the right people. True. Sherry says, sometimes I'm drawn to a color or a part of the picture and read into the person from there. I'm glad you're with me there, Joe. Sherry, yeah, I just take a glance at the card. I just look at it, and I draw 3 cards and I go from there, the past, future, and the now. And what I read off the card is what I feel, intuitive, I guess, if you want to call it. But what bothers me the most about people who read the tarot is that they're out to make a buck. And I have come across some readers that really don't know what they're doing. And all they're at to is they'll throw out the spread and then they'll just read the definitions of the cards that they threw out in the spread and never give a reading. You know what I mean? I have a problem with them people. And plus they charge a lot of money too. Right? That's not right. Maybe I was born in the wrong century or something like that. But you know what? If you have the opportunity and the ability to help people with your gift, then do it. It is true that they say that I cannot give Sherry a reading with her giving me anything back. Okay, I can't. Because what happens, the energy has to keep flowing like this. Okay. So if I give Sherry a reading and she doesn't give me anything back, then boom, it stops. Okay. And the energy doesn't move on like that. Okay. So what I would do is just say, hey, make somebody happy today. And then that's how you pay me back. Kurt says, or maybe it feeds off your reaction on how much intention you put into believing it. And it could possibility manifest something. And you're right, Sherry. Yes. Kurt says, snake oil salesman. I would never rip anyone off. But if they would come out and say, hey, listen, now don't get me wrong, there are a lot of good readers out there. A lot, and I know a lot of them, and I was actually taught by a lot of the best ones here in Pittsburgh. I really was. And I am truly grateful that they had the opportunity to help me out in my quest or the path that Spirit set for me. It just was like, it was just like Spirit was drawing them to me. You know what I mean? Like he put them in my life for a certain round, so for a certain reason to help me just continue to learn more about, using my gift. Siri says everything is in the intention, but my integrity is everything. I like that. Oh my gosh, Sherry, can I borrow that? Try to put that on my Facebook page. But I know a lot of people who do have tarot decks, and a lot of people just buy them because of the artwork on the tarot deck. And you know what? The artwork is beautiful. There are so many beautiful tarot decks out there. Thank you, Sarah. There's a lot of beautiful artwork on the tarot decks. And I really, in fact, to be honest with you, I just look at the artwork more than I would look at the cards. Kurt says, yes, I believe that, Sean. There are good people out there for sure. Look at the ones in here. But for the good one, how many bad surround it? Many, dude. Many, Kurt. There's a lot of people who are bad that surround the good. Joe Fox says tarot has been around for centuries, but so has deception. True. So true. So anybody out there that wants to get a tarot reading, just be very careful on who you go to. Make sure you do your research on the reader that you're going to. Try out all the information that you need. Okay. And then if it feels right, then go get your reading done. If it doesn't feel right, then don't go. Hey, Laura, how are you? Hi, Sean. A true reader that speaks from her soul and heart will not charge. True. That's so true, Laura. If you want to give something, do so, but no fee should be asked for a reading. I would never trust anyone that does. That is true. No fee. No fee. No charging. Some of the prices I see out there that they charge for half-hour reading, I die. I die. It's crazy. Now, a lot of people come up to me and say, well, you know what, Sean? Well, it's the way how I work. It's how I make my living. And I said, if that's the way you make your living, then you know what? Go out and be honest with the person. And don't just tell them anything that, from the cards and read the definitions. Just use your intuition. Heidi says, use discernment with readers. Lots on both sides. True. Now, next one, and this is funny. Not funny, but I have a problem with this one. Pendulums. Who believes in pendulums? You know, the little things that hang from the chain and go right for yes, left for no. Everyone needs to make money, though, also. I understand that, Mitch, but you just can't. And this is like I keep telling everybody, you know, I can't judge. If that's what you need to do, then you got to do it. Uh, if I had the power to truly help people, I don't think money would be a priority in my life. That's real nice to hear, Joe. That's true. Kurt says, I love this chat. It's like a big weekly meeting when all bullshit and good things happen through the week, and we come here and hash it out. All of it. That's sweet. Thank you, Kurt. Sadly, we are a world who needs money. True. Heidi says, to each their own free will. Joni says, yep. But who believes in the pendulums? Now, I know I'm not going to get through this list tonight. Okay. Um, we'll see, but pendulums are a weighted object on a string or chain used to answer yes, no questions or indicate direction. Sherry says, I would say a reasonable fee is fine as I've put a great deal of money into courses, tutors, etc., trying to perfect the craft, mediumship. But if someone couldn't pay, that's fine as well. God, Spirit bless you, Sherry. Honest to God. God bless you. You're a good person. Your energy's awesome, and you're down to earth. You're a down to earth person, and that's the same thing for me. I can't see charging an arm and a leg for a reading. The runes, an ancient alphabet symbols used for divination and inscribed on stones, wood, or other materials. I don't have a clue about the runes. Does anybody out there know anything about runes? Because I sure as hell don't. Sherry Madigan says, I can never seem to get them to work the same all the time. Does anybody know anything about the runes? Oh, Mish has runes. Do you like it? Oh, the pendulum. Okay. It doesn't. And you know what? And I'm going to tell everybody, you can manipulate the pendulum. You can manipulate it. You can. Okay, Heidi says, I have a pendulum years and still don't trust myself 100%. You can seriously manipulate the pendulum. And I've done it many, many, many a times. So you really, for me, I can't trust the pendulum. Heidi says, I am drawn to runes. Miss says, it's okay. The runes, I also have eyes of Horus. That's cool. But I don't understand the runes. Maybe I have to take a little course on the runes to see what they're all about. Then you got your dowsing rods. Who believes in dowsing rods? Is a Y-shaped or L-shaped rods often made of metal used to locate water, minerals, or other objects underground. Now, again, there's a lot of people that use the dowsing rods, and there's a lot of people that know how to work the dowsing rods. But you can manipulate the dowsing rods too. And it's crazy. I don't want to ruin or step on anybody's toes about the pendulum and the dowsing rods, but for me, you can manipulate them. So when it comes to me watching a person do an investigation through a pendulum or dowsing rods, I'm on the line for that. But you know what? We are at 9:03, 9:04 p.m. I'm going to take another short break, and then we'll come back for the last half hour of the show. So I won't be gone. So everyone, grab a smoke, go to the bathroom, do what you got to do, okay? And I'll be back pretty shortly. And this one is for my friend Heidi. Okay, got to find it though. This is my friend Heidi. There it is.
I had had enough.
Well, you drove out there into the middle of nowhere and had some sort of loud verbal display challenging ET in general out in the middle of nowhere?
That's what I was doing. I actually had a pistol in my hand at the time. I was really ticked off. When I was having this fit, I was waving the gun in the air, okay, and I had to sit. And at this moment, I said, okay.
He was a Louisiana man named Montaldo. Folks around called him Six Gun Joe. Worked with ICAR, don't you know? Investigating UFO. Out for a drive with a gal one night, they stopped to check out the reporting site. When an alien lit right there on the ground, he commenced to throwing his weight around. Now, old Six Gun didn't take too kindly to that kind of thing, especially without Vaseline or anything like that, you know. Seriously. Well, Six Gun looked that critter right in the eye and said, "Any last wish before you die, yo?" Reached for his gun, quick as a twitch, and said, "Fill your claw, you son of a bitch." Now a legend spread across the land about this pistol-waving man. But if you're from space or from Earth below, you don't give no lip to Six Gun Joe.
Hey, welcome back to the last part of Into the Night with me, your host, Sean Kelly. I am on UPRN Talk Radio, 105.3 Mississippi, 107.7 New Orleans, and I want to thank Joe Montaldo, who owns the UPRN, for allowing me to give you 2 nights, an hour and a half on Sunday nights and an hour on Tuesday night. And I truly appreciate it. My boss, Michelle DeRoche, I said it right again. Oh my gosh. No, it's not over yet, girl. We still got about a half hour yet. But I want to thank Michelle for popping in tonight. She's my boss. Ah, you're welcome, Heidi. And she's a good boss. So back to the show. We were talking about divination tools. Okay. And so the last one, what is your what is everybody's feeling on dowsing rods? That girl says she has runes. She has runes, but haven't used them in so long. What's people think of dowsing rods? It depends on the people who are using them. If you're trained in them, okay, and if you know how to work them with the spirit, uh, she is awesome, Sherry. Montaldo. I have to tell him that one, Joe. Montaldo. That's cool. But it to me, you know, if anybody uses these tools, if you know how to use them right, then go for it. But what I did in the experiment one time, I was at an investigation, and what I did was I got a little stand, you know, with a little hook on it. And what I did was I tied the pendulum onto that little hook here, and I didn't touch it. And for the whole investigation, I asked so many questions. But you know what? Never got an answer from the spirits that were inside the house on that pendulum. So if you use it in your hand, are we manipulating them? I don't know. That girl says, I use dowsing rods, but to find anything hidden, not just water. That's cool. Heidi says, I would personally love to. Um, so when I did that experiment with that pendulum, okay, and nothing happened, then I'm thinking, that, when people are holding it and actually doing, in their hand, the pendulum, um, that they're manipulating it somehow, and they probably don't know that they're actually manipulating. Heidi says, I've heard you can make and use for dowsing bobbers. I don't know the name. I never heard of that one before, Heidi. Bobbers? Never heard of that. Only in fishing. But I tell you what, the best tool to take on an investigation. Here is the best one all. Anyone ever hear of cat balls? You know, them toy balls, the cat balls? You know, little round things that you throw on the floor that don't light up until they get touched. They're the best. They are the best. I love them. Throw about 10 of them out there in a house and just, and if there's a spirit there, go play with it. There's an animal spirit there, like a cat or a dog, they usually play with it. It's like really, really cool. No, I didn't get glitchy at all there, Miss Heidi. I did not. Um, but again, I have not heard of this. Another one, okay, it's called the Oracle cards. I have never heard of those before. Has anybody else? And if you had, can you please explain what the Oracle cards are? Here it says it's similar to tarot cards, but often featuring more free-flowing imagery and less structured systems. So, on an oracle, are you reading the painting? Are you reading the picture? Is that where your intuitive comes in by looking at the picture? I'm not sure. Biorhythms. Does anybody ever hear of biorhythms? Heidi says, thank you. Most likely me, oracle, are like affirmations. Okay, thank you for that. Okay, they're affirmations for Heidi, which is cool. Biorhythms. It's the analysis of an individual's biological cycles, physical, emotional, and intellectual, to predict potential strengths and weaknesses. I have never seen anybody do biorhythms before at a tarot card reading at a fair. Miss says, yes, have lots of oracle. You read all of it, words and pictures. Okay. Sherry says, oracle cards, got lots of them. I use them the same way as a tool to get into the person. Okay, Sherry. Angel number cards are oracle cards. Okay, that's cool. Maybe I'm going to have to look those cards up, the angel number and any oracle cards, and kind of understand what you girls are telling me about. But I do appreciate the information that you're giving me. I really do. And of course, the Ouija board. Okay. Now I've gotten to some, not fights, but there's a big debate going on at the Ouija board. People use it, and I have seen a lot of bad things happen to people who have used the Ouija board. I really have. And what happens is people think they're talking to their long lost boyfriend or girlfriend, but actually what they're doing is that they opened up a portal and they allow spirits come in. In fact, if you look at the tarot cards or the pendulums or the runes, dowsing rods, whatever, what you're doing is like you're opening up a portal, and God only knows what comes through that portal. I could tell you some really bad stories about that. Joni says, what you don't know can hurt you. If you don't know how to use the tools, don't use them. That's my takeaway. And that's the truth, Joni. I agree 100%. Yeah, astrology dice. That's the last one on the bottom there, Heidi. I have astrology dice that not many people have heard of. Planets, signs, and houses. Yeah, it's dice with astrological symbols used to gain insight into specific situations. I know, not, the board scares me. I'd never use it. I'd never use it. And that's okay. I'd never use it. But you talk to a lot of people who have used it. They live and die by the Ouija board, you know. Um, and I won't touch it. And that automatic writing, I did a case where up the street from me, where the girl did a lot of automatic writing, and she actually got possessed. Honestly, she did. What? I do love them. Dice are cool too, like dark green moon. No way, Sean. Ironic. What are you talking about? Huh? I don't know. You have to come back to me on that one, buddy. But no, automatic writing, that's pretty bad. Because the girl, like I said, the girl up the street, she got possessed by a spirit, and wasn't a good spirit. But I'm not going to get into that story because Sunday's my laid back show. Scrying, another one, scrying, using a reflective surface like a crystal ball or water to see visions. Kurt says, I have all kinds of sets of dice in all sizes. I can't help myself. I see I like the buy. I buy. Oh, well, that's okay. Do you play Dungeons and Dragons, Kurt? Just asking for a friend. D&D. Do you play D&D? Um, then you got palm reading. What do you guys think of palm reading? I keep seeing these things on TikTok and on YouTube about people who read palms. Do you actually? I never had a palm reading done before. Never had one. So I really can't, tell how I feel about a palm reading. Do they work? Do they work? The dice on your list. I commented that before you said. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. I see where you're getting at here, huh? Kurt says I do also in a few other tabletop games, but haven't for a while. That girl says I got lots of marbles. I should check if I have dark green ones. My favorite one was a dark blue one. I think it was one of the slammers and the bigger ones. Huh. Heidi says, I've been drawn to palmistry since forever. Never had a reading. I find it interesting when I look at all the different videos of people talking about palm reading. Maybe one day I'll come and get one. Okay, here's the best one out of them all. Here's the one. Tea leaves. Mind you, I never played marble games. I just collect them. Tiny planets in my pockets. Ah, okay. Oh, Sean, you look like a hell of a dungeon master. No, that's my brother, man. He does that. I don't understand that D&D. I don't know about that stuff. My brother does though. Well, I tell you what, he comes up with some characters. Oh, he's good. He's good at what he does. But we're talking marbles here, since it is the astrological dice. Okay. Now, I told Heidi this one time, and I told a couple other people too. Okay, I have a hawk at one time. Well, he is my guide, but he comes and visits me. Oh, no, not the hawk, the crow or the raven, one of them. I think it's a raven. And so one day I'm at, and they greet me every morning. They really do. Um, and I say good morning and all stuff. But long story short, one day I was coming back from work, going into the house, and then the crow flew over my head. And this is the truth. I felt something hit my head. And here they dropped a marble in front of me. And I found out that was a gift from the raven or crow, whatever which one it was. It was a black one. Heidi says, Mitch said, has anyone used a Ouija board in the church? I haven't. No. That girl says, I'm cray-cray, but all my marbles are intact. Sherry, what do you feed your crows? Sherry, send me a message, please, on Facebook and tell me what you feed your crows. Because I want to start doing that. I just say hello to them. I don't feed them. I just say hello to them. That's all. So, why would, Mitch, why the hell would you bring a Ouija board into a church for? Sherry says, mine left me a nickel once and a shiny button other time. Yes, but the marble was something. But I do have a hawk that flies around where I live. Okay, and then one time, I was sitting on my porch and the hawk landed right in front of me, like on a wire, like a telephone wire or whatever. Oh, shelled peanuts. Okay. But then the hawk was looking at me and we had a conversation, me and the hawk did. Okay, and this is a true story. And so the next day, no shit, I go down to my car and what's in my on the window down by the washers for the window, but a dead mouse. The hawk gave me a mouse as a gift, a dead mouse. Maybe it was alive at the time, but there was a mouse on my car near my windshield wipers. It was crazy. It was the craziest thing in the world. Heidi says that she feeds the ravens here cat food. Okay. Would that be moist cat food or would that be dry cat food? Heidi says peanuts too if the squirrels don't get those. Them squirrels are pretty bad. Yes, that's what I think. He left me a present. And I was so happy and so delighted. And I remember it was my birthday. It was hot. And so I pulled in from work. This is a true story. And so all of a sudden, as I pulled in, I saw this. I'm going to say it was a crow or a raven, whatever. And it was calling, making their noises, man. Would be, it was making its noises. And I'm thinking, okay, you usually fly away when I come, but you're staying there and you're calm. And all of a sudden, this thought came into my head. No shit. It was my birthday. And I said, that raven there, he's saying happy birthday to me. And then I looked up at him and I said to him, thank you for the birthday wish. As God is my witness, he laughed. He flew away when I said that to him. So I think it's like really, really cool. And I also have a bunch of cardinals too that hang around my house too, that come up and visit me when I'm on the porch. Oh, berries, dry cat. The church would be a safe place. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know, Mish. Just the idea of bringing a Ouija board into a church, I just do not. I can't see that happening. Miss says, that girl don't think that she had any marbles. Squatch, man, good to see you, brother. Good to see you. Thank you for popping on tonight. But this has been a good show. We're coming up on 7 minutes, almost 9:30. Okay? And this was a great show. And I truly believe there are no such thing as coinky dinks, but everything happens for a reason. And tonight everybody got to share what they felt. We talked about divination tools. We talked about paranormal, egotistical people and how you shouldn't be harming anybody and just being you. But it was a great show. This Tuesday, I got my friend Matt Barron coming up, and we're going to talk about paranormal investigation. Now, I've had him on my show before, but that was a couple of years ago. He's like a really good friend of mine. He's a very good paranormal investigator. Beckrell says marbles, white beach rocks, seashells, branches, sticks. Sherry says, great show tonight. Thank you, Sean. You're welcome, Sherry. Thank you for being here. Kurt says, Sean, you build it and set it up. We will come. Gemstones, of course. Thank you, Kurt. You have a good night or a good afternoon, Mish. I think what it is 9:25 p.m. there. I think it's about 7 o'clock p.m. the next day over there in Australia. But thank you everybody for stopping in tonight. Like I said, I buried Annabelle. I will not be talking about her anymore, not for a very long time. Oh, it's still morning in Australia. Thank you, Joni. Okay, so children, if you can, please go to your parents, give them a hug, and tell them that you love them. And parents, please go to your children, give them a hug, and tell them that you love them. And if you have no parents, and if you have no children, find somebody, give them a hug, and tell them that you love them. Because those 3 words, I love you, go a long way. And on that note, everybody have a good night. Have a great week coming up. And I will see you Tuesday night. Goodbye.